What's up, boys? MKTV here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today what we have for you is going to be the best forwards in Euro Fantasy 2024. If you do enjoy, smash that thumbs up button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. Mean the absolute world. We're closing in 5,000 subscribers. Would be unbelievable to get that by the end of the Euros. So yeah, best forwards in the game that I think you should be considering for your teams. Without further ado, let's hop straight into that. So in no particular order, the first player we're going to be talking about is going to be Cristiano Ronaldo. The reason being, he's a very good striker. Obviously, the most goals in history for any player, and internationally as well. He's just an absolute gem. He's on penalties when he's on the pitch and also free kicks for Portugal. So that's a big plus with a player as well. Should start as the number 9 for Portugal. We're not 100% sure on that. So that may be incorrect. But hopefully, and I do believe as well firmly, that Cristiano Ronaldo will be starting the Euros for Portugal. He's 15% owned, so he's quite heavily owned in the grand scheme of things in comparison to some players. He's 10 million as well, so he's not the cheapest. But all in all, I think he's one of the best options for a forward in Euro Fantasy 2024. And looking at some of the other ones, I would definitely consider him as the third one. I think one of them, if not two, are essential. And then it's up for debate whether him or a few of the others we're about to talk about. But yeah, I do think he's a very good option. And especially if he does start, Cristiano Ronaldo is an absolute must consider. At least consider him. But definitely a very, very good option inside Euro Fantasy. The next player, our next forward we're going to be talking about is going to be Kai Havertz of Germany. Now, another player who's a bit interesting, not high owned in the fact he's 15%. But again, he's still quite owned in comparison to some of the other players in Euro Fantasy. So yeah, 15% owned. He's also significantly cheaper than Ronaldo with 7.5 million price tag on him, which I honestly think is a very, very, really reasonable price for a player who should be starting as Germany's number 9. Is he a prolific goal scorer? I would be the first person to say no. He's a bit more of a creative forward, I would say. I'm not sure, is he a number 9? But again, he will show that he can score goals. I'm not denying that fact he can. He scored a lot for Arsenal and he's in great form coming into this tournament. So Germany should be playing for number 9. So the home nation as well in Germany. I think he's a really, really good option in fairness for Germany. And just like for Euro Fantasy in general, I think he's a really good option. The fact he's only 7.5 million. He's significantly cheaper than a lot of the other options. And he's just a very well-rounded player. He's going to get some goals. He's going to get some assists. And for 7.5 million, a player who starts up front for the home nation, I can't lie. That is a really good option, in my opinion. He's one of the best forwards to go for. Definitely someone you should be considering in your Euro Fantasy 24 forward line. The next player we're going to be talking about is going to be Harry Kane. Now, Harry Kane obviously plays for England and also Bayern Munich. So the fact he's playing in Germany, he's had a season in Germany, it's going to be like playing at home for him. It really is. So the fact he knows Germany, he knows the stadiums he's going to be playing in, is a big factor for him in coming up to this Euros. He's someone personally I would not want to have a draft without. He's 49% owned, so nearly half the player base do own this player. He's 11 million as well, which is the most of any attacker as well, joined with someone else we do have in this list. He's on penalties for England. He's England's best and most nailed-on attacker, in my opinion. No one else really does come close in comparison to what Harry Kane brings. The leadership, the goal-scoring ability, the link-up play with the defence, like from the midfield to attack. He just brings a load. His assists, everything he comes with. He's probably going to be England's captain coming into this tournament as well. And he's just nailed on for a price tag of 11 million. He's going to score goals. We've seen it in the pre-season game, or the friendly games, I should say, against, was it Bosnia? And yeah, he looked really sharp in that game. Came on and scored a goal. Is exactly what you want for a player. But he's going to be playing for England and starting for England as well as the number 9. And I think he's an absolute must-own, in my opinion, for one of your forwards in Euro Fantasy 2024. So definitely someone you should consider. If not, I think he's a must. But that is completely up to yourself as well, whether you do go with Harry Kane or not. We're moving on to some more interesting picks now. And the first one we do have is Federico Chiesa of Italy. Now, Italy, might be thinking, their attack hasn't been very good recently. They haven't scored a lot of goals. And Italy in general have been pretty poor. But there is always a but with this. Federico Chiesa the Italian manager has come out and said that he should be, or he will be on penalties, taking over from Jorginho, as Jorginho has missed a few for Italy. So should be on penalties as a number 9, or not number 9, sorry, playing in the attack for Italy, probably off the left. And he's probably their best attacker and most nailed on attacker, I would say. He's the cheaper option as well, in comparison to like the fact he's 7.5 million. He's not going to break the bank with the likes of 11 million Harry Kane or a 9 million Romelu Lukaku or someone like that. So he's very reasonably priced at 7.5 million. He's only 9% owned, so he's not very high owned as well. He's Italy's probably best attacker. And also I want to say, last Euros, he did phenomenally. He was one of the best players at the tournament last, Euros, the Euro 2020 when Italy won it. And he was just a very, very big part of everything well Italy did. So he's a very good player. He's not in the best form coming into this competition, but by all means, he could turn that on and become a brilliant option, and a brilliant option for Italy. But most importantly, for ourselves in Euro Fantasy 24. So that's why I consider him a very good forward option. Maybe not the best option. He's definitely a good option. So definitely worth considering. Thinking about that first fixture against Albania, he could definitely come away with a few returns there. But definitely someone you should be thinking about maybe bringing in. At least give him some consideration. He's been in a few of my drafts personally. Will he be in by the end of it? I'm not so sure. We'll have to wait and see. Now, next player we do have here is Kylian Mbappe of France. And Real Madrid actually now, yeah. Real Madrid have signed Kylian Mbappe. So the reason I would go for Kylian Mbappe, again, 76% of people in the game so far have gone with him. I just think he's a brilliant option. He's on penalties for France, on free kicks for France. France's best attacker by a country mile. Probably one of the best players, if not the best player in the world currently. He's in great form coming into this tournament. Back of how many goals this season? I don't even know, 30-something. He's a really good group as well for France. They should come out of the group stage and should definitely be pushing to try and win this competition. So Kylian Mbappe is someone I would he's a must-have in my opinion, the most must-have player in the competition. And in his friendly this week, he did come away with a goal and 2 assists, which again just shows he is up for this tournament. He really is. 11 million, it is a bit steep, but again, you're going to have to spend the quality. You're going to have to spend the money to get the quality players. And yeah, Kylian Mbappe, the less I say, probably the better. You know yourselves how good this player is. Not really much to talk about, but what a player he is, and what a player to be able to have in fantasy. Definitely a player I would be having in Euro Fantasy 2024. Next player is a player who I actually previously said is a void player. He's not an avoid player. Let me get things straight here. He's on penalties for Belgium when he's on the pitch. He's the best attacker they have, and he always does do well for Belgium, in fairness to him. Like, he's Belgium, he's the top goal scorer in the Euros qualifiers, which again just shows how good this player is. Romelu Lukaku, I would definitely be considering. He's in most template teams, as in the most kind of common good players to pick teams. He's in the front three, him, Harry Kane, and Kylian Mbappe. And I just think he is someone you definitely should consider. 9 million price tag as well. He's very, very good value for money there, considering the amount of goals he does score for Belgium is ridiculous. And yeah, 12% owned, so he's not the highest owned player in the game, which, it's actually surprising how low he is owned there. I would have thought he would have at least been about 30% owned, if not in the 20s. But yeah, Romelu Lukaku didn't actually play the most recent friendly. I do believe that is just because they want to give other players a chance, as in rotation-wise and stuff, and save their players for the tournament. But Belgium could have a very good tournament here, with the likes of, obviously De Bruyne in form, Lukaku coming into form and stuff as well, hopefully. So it could be a really good tournament for Belgium, and there's a lot of Belgian players I will be definitely keeping an eye on, and Romelu Lukaku in the forward line is definitely one of them. Okay, here we go. Next player we do have. We're getting on some more interesting picks here, in my opinion, than the obvious ones. But yeah, Artem Dovbyk of Ukraine is in my current draft. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. But yeah, he's in my current draft, and there's massive reasons why he is in my draft. 6% owned currently as well. I don't understand how he's so low owned. He should be on penalties for Ukraine, so that's the first plus side with him. He's in absolutely brilliant form. 25 goals this season for Girona. So he's someone you want to have definitely have a look at. especially if you are trying to save a little bit of money. So if you've gone with 2 expensive forwards and you're trying to save a bit of money with a 7.5 million pick between, say, him, Havertz, and Chiesa, he would currently be the top of my list for them three at the moment. And personally, I actually think he's underrated and overlooked currently. Like, I've seen a lot of people just kind of say, yeah, he's a decent option, but is he great? I think he's an absolutely phenomenal option. He could come away with a few goals and stuff this tournament. Even if Ukraine don't make it that far, I can definitely see him getting at least 2 or 3 goals, which is all we really want from a forward for this price tag. And anything more is just an absolute bonus. So I think Artem Dovbyk is a really good pick, someone you should probably have a look at. He's in my current draft as well for a reason, so I'm not telling you a player just for telling you a player. For the sake of it, I'm telling you a player because I actually truly believe this guy could come away with some decent returns in the group stage and hopefully beyond that as well. So, I think Dovbyk's a good option. Let me know what you think of him as well. Is he actually going to be as good as I'm thinking? Maybe he won't. That could be a possibility as well. But is he in the best forwards coming into this tournament and an option in the Euros for this game? Absolutely. The final player we're going to be talking about as the options for best forwards in Euro Fantasy 2024 is going to be Che Adams of Scotland. Now, you might be thinking, what are you on about here? A player from Scotland, a striker who's only 5.5 million. Why are you even looking at him? Well, let's have a quick look at Che Adams of Scotland. 5.5 million, so he's absolutely brilliant, brilliant price for someone who's going to play games for Scotland. Is he going to play every game? I'm not so sure, but for the price, you wouldn't expect him to play. For that price, you wouldn't expect someone to play every single game. That just wouldn't really expect it for the price, is what I'm trying to say. He's 1% owned, really cheap. Everything is looking good so far. It really is. The fact he's great value, he should be on penalties for Scotland as well. It is between him and John McGinn. And he did score the last day as well in their friendly before the Euros. So he's in good form as well for Southampton. He's a good player, brilliant player, in fact. Been in the Premier League and shown he can score goals as well. Always seems to do well for Scotland themselves. 5.5 million. There's nothing not to like about this. If you're looking, I'm not going to say this is a good pick for everyone because it just realistically isn't. But if you're a player or a manager, I suppose, and you want 3 of your forwards, you want 2 really expensive forwards, and you need someone who's going to play, has the potential to play, maybe not every game, but at least play a game, and come on and you can sub them off or whatever in fantasy, whatever your play style strategy is. To have a player who's going to play, but absolute minimum price for a forward, he is your man. He could potentially come away with a penalty goal, a little cheeky goal here and there, an assist, whatever it may be. The fact he's on the pitch, playing minutes, and is very cheap, he makes him a good option in my opinion. I think Che Adams, you should definitely, if you have, you want to spend your budget everywhere else and you still want someone in the forward line who's a bit cheaper, he is definitely a player I think is worth, at least having a look at seeing how much you can improve your defense in midfield by going with a cheaper option up front. So definitely someone I'm going to look at as in having, say having Kane and Mbappe and Che Adams, and then see what else I can do with my team from saving that money. But yeah, we'll have a look and see. It definitely isn't going to be a great pick for everyone, but it is a good pick to at least consider. And honestly, if you're trying to save budget and stuff, like I said, he could be a very good option. So boys, massive thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully you've taken something from this if you're trying to decide which forwards you should take. Going to be doing a midfielder, defender, and goalkeeper version of this as well. So do stay tuned, turn on notifications, make sure you're subscribed for that as well. And drop a like if you do enjoy these type of videos. Let me know the feedback if you do enjoy them. Also, boys, if you do want to go ahead and join the MKTV YouTube League for fantasy football for 2024 Euros, go ahead, join. The code is on screen. It's in the description down below. And if you want the auto join link, is in the description down below as well. So massive thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, smash thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you boys next time with the next one. Peace.